Good morning, folks. So, I have a plethora of stuff set up here on the table. So, what I wanted to go over is some things that I have found that are well worth the money to get, and other things I found that they're workable, but they're just annoying, right? They're annoying to use, especially if you're looking in the preparedness type of field or camping field or just stuff to have around the house. Now, I know it's summer, but these right here, first item, spikes. These right here are little spikes that you put over your shoes, and they go over your shoes, and they for walking on ice. The problem I found with these, and it's workable, this is like my third pair, but the problem I found with these is after excessive wear, the rubber, especially where it connects to the chains, breaks. Now, what I have found how to fix that is just take some twine and you can tie them to your shoes. The main thing is that the spikes go underneath your shoe, and that way you can walk on ice. Now, this is not good for snow. Let me be very clear. This is not good for snow. This is only for ice, like icy walkways, icy driveways, things of this nature. If you have snow on top of the ice, this doesn't penetrate enough with you just walking to not fall on your butt. Okay? So that's the first item. It's just something that it comes in a nice little package. It's easy, especially if you're going up in the north where you're going to be in ice and snow. It's something good to have in your hiking bag, right? Like I said, this is my second pair. First pair I wore out, and it's just something good. It comes in a nice little package, nice and light. It's not going to add a lot of weight to your hiking bag. Second item. If you're looking at getting solar generators as a backup for your house, you need one of these. Now, what this does is you plug your item in here, you plug it into the wall, and it'll tell you the surge voltage and the running voltage. So you'll get the proper amount of wattage for your item. Let's say you want to buy a solar generator for your refrigerator or your freezer or your aquarium or your CPAP. You need one of these. This will tell you what the initial surge is and what the running wattage is. And this, it comes in a little box, and it's called an electricity usage monitor, and that's what you need. And the one I've got is by Vivosun. It's Chinese made. I got it off of Amazon. Okay, it works great. It tells you everything you need to know on the back of it. It comes with a little booklet on it, and you definitely want to spend the extra $45 to $50 to get this. Okay, if you're looking at buying a solar generator that you're going to use, let's say you're going to go out in the woods, you're going to set up camp, you want to run you want to run a little electric heater, you want to run lights, you want to run a small air conditioner, definitely worth the cost to save you money on buying the exact solar generator that you need, or the exact electrical inverter that you need for your let's say, like some people have, they have a battery room, they have batteries, they have the inverter set up, they have the MPP controller. It tells you exactly what the wattage is on each item, what the surge is on each item, and then you can calculate the maximum surge on all items at the same time, and then you can calculate how big of a solar setup you need to run what you want. Okay. I found it very, very helpful. Now, you'll see I've got this little supposedly backpack solar battery for charging your phone. Do not buy one of these. I have bought 15 of these, and none of them last more than a month. None of them. I've bought the cheap ones. I've bought the expensive ones. I've bought this one here, which is, it looks great. It works, but it's a trifold solar panel. It does work. I want to be very clear. It does work. But to charge a phone using just this in full sun takes 9 hours. For the cost of it, don't buy it. Okay? I'm trying to save you a little bit of money here, trying to tell you what's worked for me and what hasn't. I have found that they are not worth the money. You're better off buying a small 200 watt Jackery or Bluetti or EcoFlow or the smallest Opes. You're better off doing that, or even going with a small dual fuel generator. Okay, you're just better off. It doesn't, even a single solar panel will do you better than this. Okay. Now I understand it does work. I understand that, if you're hiking, you want to find things that are lightweight and usable in the field. I have not found not one of these small ones. I have not found one yet that has worked more than a couple charges. It worked great initially. After it got wet, that was it. And if you're hiking, normally you're hiking during the day, so you have it hanging off your backpack. And if it happens to be raining outside, it just becomes weight that you don't need to be carrying. The other thing that I found, everybody's like, well, I'll just get one of these little pin, right? It looks like a pin, and it comes with a nice little reel, right? Little reel, little setup for your fish hooks and everything else. First time you use it, if you get anything that's bigger than half a pound, like a perch on this pole, it will break. It'll break. The reel will break. The pole will break. The line will break. You're better off with a stick and take your own fishing line and tie it to the stick with a small lure and go for it from there. And the hook setter with this, you couldn't you catch any fish that's even worth pulling out of the water to cook, it will bend the hook or break the hook, and you don't have nothing, right? So waste of money. Okay, that's what I have found in the field. Again, I have tried maybe 5 or 6 of these. I've tried the nice ones that you get from, Bass Pro. I've tried a lot of them. Okay, there's all kinds of different brands out there. I haven't found one yet that is workable in the actual field setting. You're better off, like I said, you're better off cutting a limb off a tree, tying your fishing line to the limb, and just using the limb off the tree. It's got more strength to it than these little poles do. Pocket knives. Always get yourself a good pocket knife. Now, I just got this week. This here is a carbon fiber blade. It's a carbon fiber blade, right? Carbon fiber is great if you want to cut things. It is not great for starting a fire. Like if you want to use your knife with flint to start a fire, this is not good. But always, when you're going in the woods, always have a good knife with you, whether it be a little pocket knife or your little buck knife, right? You could tell this has been used. It's been used, right? This is from Buckmasters. This is a very good knife, right? And it fits on your belt loop, right? And I have, as you can tell, I have used this to skin a deer with it. Okay, this is a good little knife. I highly recommend that if you're looking for a knife, be particular about what you're looking for. A small knife like this in the field with small game, even bigger game, it might take you a little bit longer, but even with bigger game, works great. One of the things you want to make sure of is you want to make sure that the blade is stiff enough in the handle that when you're cutting the hide, right, or you're cutting meat off of the animal, that the blade, especially the tip, that the blade tip and the handle are not going to separate. So this has been used quite frequently for different small game, and it is a great little knife. Okay, so that's what you want to look for. You want to look for what am I actually going to use it for, and am I able to put it on my belt loop so it's easily grabbed if I need it? It is not for cutting tree limbs, cutting twigs, things of this nature for your campfire. There's other blades out there, there's other saws out there that are for that. So, good rule of thumb, have a good pocket knife, have a good skinning knife when you go in the woods, right? Besides your self-protection. By that I mean, your shotgun, your crossbow, whatever, right? You definitely, if you go in the woods, we'll say this clearly, if you go in the woods, you better have some kind of self-protection. I see hikers all the time getting injured by wildlife because they don't have any kind of bear spray, they don't have a pistol, they don't have anything to scare the bigger predators away. So if you go in the woods, you want to be able to take some kind of protection with you. And always, always take a topographical map and a compass. Always. Because you never know when you're out in the woods, you never know when you're suddenly going to lose your GPS signal on your phone, and you're going to go into an area, no cell phone, no, Lord have mercy, we hear it all the time on the news about this group of hikers got lost, and one fell down into a ravine, and now they can't get help because somebody's got to run back 5 miles to get to an area where they can get signal to call somebody, and by the time they call somebody and trying to tell them where they're at, by the time they're found, a lot of times that person that fell or got injured down in the ravine ends up passing away because they don't know if they had just gone to the right 150 feet, they would have ran into a road. This happens all the time, right? So whenever you go in the woods, be aware of where you're at. Let somebody know where you're going. Always have a topographical map of the area you're going to be hiking in. I don't care if it's public trails. I don't care if it's personal trails. You always want that on you. You always want to have just the basic necessities to survive. Okay? So you always want to take water. You always want to take a good knife. You always want to take a good fire starter, right? And you notice I'm pointing this one out and not a Bic lighter. The reason I'm pointing this one out is because when you're trying to start a fire, you don't want your hand right there up against the fire. So you want a nice, these are cheap, you can buy them. They last a long, long time. I have probably 12 of these, right? Another good thing to have, radio. Now, you can have the battery operated radio like what I've got. You can have the crank radio, which I don't have, or you can use your phone. Now, if you're using your phone, or you're using the radio off the pickup truck, right? FM transmitter. You can plug this into your pickup truck and it will transmit out on certain frequencies whatever the pickup radio is playing, and it'll play through your speakers, right? This is great if you're trying to set up a Bluetooth speaker and you have, let's say, Sirius XM on your truck or your vehicle, but you want to, you want to be able to broadcast that to your Bluetooth speakers, right? Well, you can broadcast that over and it'll go through your speakers. Just so you know, I've used this with the old XM radio, and this is what I use to play through the radio from the XM, and it works the same concept with a Bluetooth speaker. It works the same way. So good little item to have, especially if you're setting up a campfire and you want low music, to set the tone, so you can tell your ghost stories, etc., etc., etc. Another item that I've bought several of these. This one here, you have to crank it with your hand in order for it to work. The only problem with this is the minute your hand gets tired, the flashlight goes out. Doesn't keep a charge. Great for emergency. Not so great to use it for any amount of time. It's the same thing with this one. This one is Same concept. It's just a little hand crank, and it takes 2 hands to crank it, and it works great while you're cranking it, but the minute you stop cranking it, it's going to stop working. So it doesn't keep a charge. They're great for short term, bad for long-term light. So that's just some of the items that I'm going through. Another thing is these Thinsulate, right? These Thinsulate work great for one winter on your outside faucets. But as you can see, if you have any kind of wild critters around, such as raccoons, possums, mice, they like to chew up the corner of it and take the stuffing out. Yes, they do that. Now, these are something that are great for a season, but you're going to end up buying these every year if you use these. Your better option is to actually buy the styrofoam covers, right? Or the hard plastic insulated covers to put over your faucets. It works just like these. They're easy to put on. And yes, they're more expensive, but they will last you years, whereas this is one season. Now, I happen to use these, right? You do whatever you want to. I know I have to buy these every year, and obviously, I've got to buy them again for this coming winter. Now, on to the good things. I put a picture of this up on my community page. I went yard sailing yesterday. Yay! Everybody likes yard sailing, right? You never know what you're going to find. So I was looking at these small little refrigerators, right? And I've cleaned it up. It's got like a little freezer box, right? And the guy tells me, well, it worked. It worked when I put it in the shed, but it's been in the shed for 4 years, and I don't know if it works. I said, well, what do you want for it? He says, well, if you give me $5, you can have it. So, I got a refrigerator that's going to be going to my cabin. Wasn't planning on buying a refrigerator yet, but I already knew I was going to get one. So this is what you got to do when you go yard sailing and you're looking at stuff. I got a big pile again to go up to the cabin. I was going to go this weekend, but I'm still having pickup truck problems. So we're trying to narrow that down to what it could be. And until I'm sure that I can get all the way up there and get all the way back, I'm not going, right? And it sucks because, doesn't stop me from getting the stuff that I want to put in my cabin, but it is slowing me down. But anyway, $5 for a small little refrigerator, that right there is a steal. And yes, it works. It doesn't work great, but it works enough for me to be able, if I wanted to take something up with me for the weekend, it'll work enough to, keep stuff cool for the weekend. And, yeah. So, I hope this is some good information. I went through a lot of this stuff very quickly. Obviously, I got a lot more stuff. Obviously. And obviously, I've got stuff that is stored everywhere. So, my thing to you is there something you want me to go over? Or something you're interested in to know? let me know, because as a YouTuber, hey babies, as a YouTuber, it becomes difficult for us every week to come up with new ideas for people, right? So sometimes we know exactly what you want us to be talking about. Other times, we're clueless. So, if there's certain subjects you want me to go over, please let me know. Leave it in the comments. And we'll talk to you next week. Bicycle.